Got it. We have a great speaker tonight. Cecilia Sanders from Caltech is really going to be talking about life on other worlds and how you would know it when you saw it. And I just put this picture up because I think she'll be up on one of those worlds with that rock hammer someday. Our calendar, notice the calendar is getting pretty full. Our outreach venues, many of them are open and they're very well attended. We are going to restart at West Sycamore and the Kumeyaay Campground for Mission Trails beginning in November. We're still waiting to restart Balboa Park, but you can tell with the addition of those two events, we get a pretty good schedule. Next Wednesday, the imaging group will have a really interesting Zoom with the CTO of PlaneWave. As you know, they make really high-end telescopes that are absolutely state-of-the-art. Some that maybe we can afford if we sell our cars, and others are really observatory class. On the 29th, there is a live stream that you've probably heard about it between the Tucson Astronomy Association and SDAA, which is a national event, actually. 5 November, first Friday of the month, back to Kumeyaay Campground. The next Saturday is member night at our site at TDS. Dixon Lake is coming up. You see on the 10th. This will be the second time we've done Dixon Lake. It's above Escondido. It's fairly close, and it's a moderately dark site. The 13th, KQ Ranch and the San Diego Children's Discovery Museum. Program meeting a month from now. I'm going to attempt to have an old-fashioned gadget night virtually. So bring your gadgets. You can make little videos of your gadgets. You can hold them up to the thing. You can talk about them. If there's software, it would work really nicely. Back to West Sycamore, the ASIG meeting in November, and then the other Sycamore Canyon. This is the 3rd Friday and the 4th Friday, and then we have our public star party on the 27th of November at TDS. Ed and I hosted the Rancho Bernardo High School Astronomy Club at TDS, and Ed came out with a pretty neat thing to do. The picture on the left, he had some of the students clean the secondary mirror on the lip. So there they are. I've already had a picture that I didn't show of Ed showing them how to do it and being very gruff about it. But here they are all happy cleaning the mirror, and they weren't allowed to clean the primary, but they did the secondary. And the shot on the right shows us all playing with wide field imaging of the sky and making funny little figures with our red flashlights, which is always a hit. And you could see it was a fairly dark night. We got a nice Milky Way. There's view. There's Ptolemy's cluster in the middle. I was updating my Palomar science brief, and I edited the slide, so I thought it might be good to show tonight what's going on up at Palomar Observatory. 2 years ago, when the COVID hit, they were only observing maybe 4 nights a week, trying to conserve effort. They closed it to visitors, but for the past 6 or 8 months, the observatory has been on sky every night. So there are no public visitors, but the science is still being done. You can observe either remotely from Caltech or China or wherever you're controlling the instruments from, the imaging cameras and spectrographs, or you can come up and do it locally. Some telescopes and systems we have at Palomar are fully automated. There's no human attendance. The 200-inch needs an operator and, generally pretty direct control of the instruments. They've taken the time to install and commission a whole series of new instruments in the last few years. They've upgraded the already fine AO system. they've commissioned a new prime focus imaging camera, a new spectrograph, and they call it a 36-inch plane wave, but it's actually 39 inches according to the specs. Plane wave up in that small dome near the 200-inch for Mancy's IR survey that would complement the ZTF. Incidentally, that I looked up the plane wave site. That instrument would retail for $575,000 in case you'd like to see it in your observatory. And the deep space optical communications experiment that we've talked about. So things have been going on, although none of us have been up there to see it. A little bit of astronomy news. I think everybody has seen that the James Webb looks like it's going to be launched on the 18th of November. It has already made it down to the ESO launch site in French Guiana for integration with a Ariane 5 rocket. And once it lifts off, it takes a month to get to the L2 Lagrange point. And I don't know when it begins full-scale science after that. I don't know the whole mission profile, but at least it's finally going to get up. And we should know fairly soon if it's deployed and been tested and so forth. So that's kind of good news for all of the infrared people. I think on the 16th, NASA has sent this Lucy mission up to the Jupiter Trojan asteroids. And there's a little graphic on the left. It shows Jupiter stationary, and the orbit of the satellite is kind of fared in to correspond with that. But you know, there are two sets of Trojans, L4 and L5, Lagrangian points. And this Lucy mission takes its name, since it's going to the primordial outer planetary material that's supposedly residing in these asteroids. The mission takes its name from the fossilized human ancestor, Lucy, and it's actually a 12-year journey. So this thing is going to be highly space qualified. It's going to visit 7 Trojans during its mission, and 1 main belt asteroid that happened to be named after Donald Johanson, who was the discoverer of the Lucy fossil. So that's a nice little bit of NASA mission planning. You know, I like to show a picture that our members have taken. I don't know if Ross Salinger is on the Zoom to discuss it, but I like to choose pictures with reasonable sized telescopes. In this case, this is a pretty high-end plane wave, 12.5 inches on a big mount. But he caught a segment of the Eastern Veil called the Bat Nebula. And you can see it's a phenomenally detailed photograph, quite colorful. And this whole, he took LRGB data plus some narrowband, and it's a total of 8 hours and 20 minutes total data.